Today we are going to discuss a new chapter under Goods and Service Tax, and the chapter name is Composite and Mixed Supply. Now, what is composite supply? That is to be discussed first. Now, composite supply is when two or more goods are sold in a combination. It becomes difficult to identify the rate of tax to be levied. That means whenever two or more goods are sold together, are sold in a combination, then it becomes difficult to identify the rate of the tax to be levied on sale of that goods, because the goods are sold in a combination in which more than one goods are there, and the rate of tax, what will be the rate of tax for sale of that item of combination of goods? It is naturally very difficult to identify. Now, for such goods or services, GST Act 2017 has provided two terms: composite supply and mixed supply. Now, composite supply is similar to the concept of bundle service. Now, as under the service tax law, the bundle service has been discussed in pre-GST regime. Now, both composite supply and mixed supply consist of two or more taxable supply of the goods or services, or both, but the main difference between the two is that composite supply is naturally bundled, that is, goods and services are usually provided together in normal course of business and cannot be separated, where in the mixed supply the goods or services can be sold separately. So, where the goods and services are generally bonded in natural course of business, that means where one of which cannot be sold without the other. If such type of situation arises, it is called sale of bundled services in the normal course of business, and in such a circumstances they are to be termed as naturally bundled. And whenever naturally bundled goods and services are provided or sold together, they are to be called as composite supply. Whereas in case of mixed supply, the goods and services can be sold separately, but they are sold together. This is the main difference between the composite supply and mixed supply, where in respect of composite supply, the bundle of two goods or services are made in the natural course of business, and one of which cannot be sold without the other. So they are to be termed as naturally bundled, and such type of supply are called composite supply. But where the goods or services that are bundled now, but that bundled are not to be taken as naturally bundled, because here the goods and services that are sold together can be sold separately, then such type of supply are called mixed supply. This is the main difference between composite supply and mixed supply. Now, we need further clarification regarding the definition of composite supply as per CGST Act 2017. Here, composite supply means a supply made by a taxable person to a recipient consisting of two or more taxable supplies of the goods or services, or both, or by combination thereof, which are naturally bonded and supplied in conjunction with each other in the ordinary course of business, one of which is a principal supply as per section 2 subsection 30. So this means that in composite supply, goods and service or both are bonded owing to natural necessities. The element in a composite supply are depend on the principal supply. So this is the detailed clarification of the term composite supply. I repeat again, composite supply means a supply made by a taxable person to a recipient consisting of two or more taxable supply of goods or services or both, or any combination thereof, which are naturally bonded. That means supplied in conjunction with each other in the ordinary course of business, and one of which is a principal supply as per section 2 subsection 30. So this means that in a composite supply, goods or services or both are bonded owing to natural necessities. The element in a composite supply are dependent on principal supply. Now here we need further clarification regarding the term principal supply, because wherever composite supply are there, one of the item which are being bonded in that composite supply are fulfill the nature of principal supply, one of which must fulfill the criteria of principal supply as per section 2 in bracket 32 subsection 30. Now what is principal supply? Now here the principal supply means the supply of the goods and services which constitute predominant element of a composite supply, and to which any other supply forming part of composite supply is ancillary as per section 2 subsection 90. So principal supply means the supply of the goods or services which constitute the predominant element of a composite supply. So there is a predominant element, and to which the other supply forming part of that composite supply, that means other element of supply which are bonded with the principal supply, should be taken as composite supply in nature of ancillary as per section 2 subsection 9. Then it is called principal supply. So this is the detailed clarification of the term composite supply. But in gist, composite supply means where supply of two goods or two services or a combination thereof are made in ordinary course of business. That means they are bonded in the ordinary course of business. That means one of which cannot be supplied without the supply of other. If this situation is prevail, then such type of bonded supply, such type of composite, such type of supply are to be taken as composite supply, and in composite supply there will be a principal supply, and that principal supply should constitute the predominant element of a composite supply, and other supply forming part of that composite supply should be taken as ancillary supply with the principal supply as per section 290. If these criteria are fulfilled, then that type of supply are to be taken as composite supply. Now, what is mixed supply? Here in the mixed supply also there is a combination of two goods, two or more goods, or there is a combination of two or more services, or there may be a combination of goods or services both, but they are not naturally bonded. That means they are not provided they are not supplied in the ordinary course of business. That means here one of that element can be supplied without combination, without the help of the others. That means here the goods or services that are bundled now can be sold separately, then such type of combination of supply are called mixed supply. Now here the clarification of the term mixed supply in details are given. Mixed supply means two or more individual supplies the goods or services or any combination thereof made in the conjunction with each other by a taxable person for a single price, where such supply does not constitute a composite supply as per section 274. Thus, the individual supplies are independent to each other and are not naturally bonded. As a corollary, it can be so said that if the transaction consists of the supplies not naturally bonded in the ordinary course of business, then it would be a mixed supply. Once it is proved that the transaction is not a composite supply, it would be a mixed supply, classified in the terms of the supply of the goods and services, attracting highest rate of tax. That means in case of mixed supply, there should be a combination of there should be a combination of two or more goods, there should be a combination of goods or services, etc. But what would be the rate of tax? Because here the goods or services are not naturally bonded and they can be sold separately. So whenever they are sold separately, for each type of the goods that are bundled now are to be taxed separately, and so they carry different rate of tax. Now, if it is proved that they are not being bundled naturally, that means they are to be taken as mixed supply, then but the mixed supply is made at a single price, then what will be the rate of tax on that price? Because they are sold at the same price at a bundled character. Now, in that case, it has been stated in GST Act 2017, the rate of tax for that goods or services that is being the higher as compared to the other may be taken as the basis. That means here the goods or services attract the highest rate of tax is to be taken as the basis, and that rate of tax is to be applied on entire bunch of the item of the goods sold.